Sorry, partner.
I don't always start the episode.
Try to throw it in there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Theme Park Guys. I am super pumped. I've been home for a while now, and that feels nice.
We're back in the studio.
I had been on the go. Yeah, been on the go for a while, and it felt good to have a weekend sort of at home. We ventured out a little bit, but it was nice to be home and kind of reset. We've got a lot going on for sure, and so back in the studio, back from the trip out to California, and a lot to talk about today. A lot of theme park news to catch up on, and then also doing a little Ask Us Anything. We put a question box on our Instagram story, and you guys have come up with some incredible questions for us, so I'm excited to jump into that.
Yeah, we're definitely doing an Ask Us Anything.
It'll be fun.
Because that's exactly what we planned on doing tonight. Not because I was still working out the kinks of our theme park highlight review style episode that one day soon we'll do.
I have a vision. There is an idea.
But
yeah. Just got to put that vision to paper. So
where we will eventually have a video titled after every theme park on the planet.
No, jeez. I don't think that you and I will be visiting every theme park on the planet together. But
that's the goal, right? Technically, I thought we weren't able to start this podcast until we did that, but we kind of did it backwards. So,
yeah. But yeah, so Hunter's idea is to sort of come up with like a rating system.
I'm leaning more towards
each
the rating system being more attraction based. Because if you think about it, theme parks are always changing. So like to do a rating system and rate a theme park based on like the one moment in time when we go there and then like 2 years later, maybe not won't, stand the test of time, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of like a guide / everything we enjoyed, things that we see. It's like, okay, maybe we didn't enjoy that, or here's what you need to do when you go, or our tips or our takeaways for a theme park where if someone's going, they can listen basically to that going into it, and hopefully get a little bit of info. And then on top of that, I'm thinking of like a shot list in my head of like, if we go to a theme park, okay, we do the overall review, maybe do like 3 attractions where we do like a spotlight and then rate those attractions. Like if, Knott's Berry Farm, we rate hang time. 0s across the board.
For you, that's going to be the interesting component. We'll have different rankings.
We'll talk about it later. Obviously, that's coming up in the future. But hang time did its job. Made me scared. Almost passed out.
Yeah, it was pretty scary watching the color of your face.
I realized that there's a different category of attractions, having been going to Disney a little bit. Not too much, but just pretty much just going to Disney / Universal for the last, 10 years.
Yeah, you don't frequent like parks that have many thrill
Grew up going to
rides
Six Flags over Texas, but then just kind of didn't after high school as much anymore.
Didn't,
yeah.
And you're older now,
rides have a different effect on me.
Yeah. They hurt. Yeah, they do. I mean, I love them still, but they definitely, they take their toll. Also, it's interesting because in last week's episode, when we were walking through Disneyland, you were saying, I cannot wait to get to Knott's to be able to ride some of these intense roller
coasters. I liked some. And that another one. One.
Yeah. I was more apprehensive, but I feel like I handled the coasters.
I did like Ghost Rider
better than
that was like I would go on it again. Like I enjoyed that time. Hang time, I did not enjoy my time.
It was a fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it.
Future episode. So we're doing Ask Us Anything because we're a new podcast, and we've done what is a theme park, we've done what is an annual pass, but what is us?
I feel like I do. I think it's a cool opportunity to like get to know us a little bit more. I feel like people are getting to know me more. People are getting to know you more, and also getting to know us together more. So yeah, that'll be interesting to navigate for sure. We've got some fun questions in there, but yeah, I felt like it with it being new, you've gotten to know us already by us planning days for each other or designing theme parks, but this is a little more personal when it comes with like personal questions that you can ask us. So,
but first,
we will get into that.
The news.
But first, theme park news. So
just a few things happened.
Some updates. Yeah, well, there's been a lot, but so it's kind of across the board, and it's kind of jumps all over the place. But we'll start with Universal and Epic Universe. We've gotten some just quick new announcements. They've listed some entertainments for Dark Universe. You can meet characters like Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's Monster, The Invisible Man, and the Hounds, which are monster hunters. I don't even know what that means. So, yeah. But I'm excited because team member previews, and there's been some people that have been able to go into Epic Universe, and from everything that I've seen, the new attraction in Dark Universe, everyone is saying that it is the best theme park attraction. They're saying of all time, like obviously up until this point, but they're saying it's the best thing that they've ever ridden. And this is coming from people that I trust their opinions of. So I'm very excited to see what this is about. I don't know when I'll be at Epic for the first time. I still have no idea personally. There's been a lot of media invites that have gone out, full transparency. I'm not on any of those yet, so which is a little honestly disappointing. It's a little bit of a bummer.
Would have definitely gotten you the in, you know.
No, definitely not. But I think my day will come, and I know for sure that I'll be covering a lot of it for work. So my day will come eventually. I just am going to be having some intense and serious FOMO while people are getting into the park, and I am watching their coverage because I cannot wait for Epic Universe. It's going to be so much fun. So more news will be coming out of Epic over the next few weeks, especially because one of the first media previews that they're having is on March 29th. So that's coming up in just a few weeks, and we'll see a lot of coverage from that. So can't wait to check it all out. They've been showing a lot of aerial shots of the park at night, which look stunning. It looks absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to be there. I also am very excited about being at Grand Helios for the opening weekend because we have a theme park view, and I can't wait to be able to just look out my window and see all of Epic Universe. It's going to be pretty special. So hopefully Francie's supposed to go on that weekend, and hopefully we are moving right along in terms of pregnancy and everything is the way it's supposed to be at that point. So anyways, so other news, this is very specific, but it's interesting because we were just there. The Grand Californian Hotel entrance to Disney California Adventure Park is closed.
Oh my gosh.
May. Yeah. Yeah, they're working on updating all of the turnstiles around Disneyland, and we saw this as we were exiting the park a couple of times leaving Disneyland.
Oh, the little gates.
Yeah, so they're instead of having a turnstile, it's more of like what you see. I associate them with airports because I've seen them at airports before, but it's almost like the glass doors that open. I think that this is a better system. Anything that Disneyland Resort can do to expedite the process of getting into the parks, it's going to be a win because there were definitely some longer lines that we experienced. I know I personally experienced trying to get into DCA when I didn't use the Grand Californian entrance, and also trying to get into Disneyland as well. I think that their systems are a little bit outdated, and it can definitely move
So when we had it
faster.
at Disneyland, didn't they have those new gates? Was that like the first weeks that they've had those, and I just didn't realize it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But we didn't enter. I mean, I never entered.
I entered
with those
with
gates.
one, and we exit. The exit gates were those gates also
you did
too, right?
The exit ones I did exit through, yes, but I never entered with any of them. I always entered through turnstiles. But yeah, they're very new. So I think please give more of an expedited process, including security. They need to move the scanners that they have at Walt Disney World over to Disneyland so they don't have to do bag checks on every single bag that goes through.
Yeah,
security.
but we just had the Grand Californian experience where you do have less people. Like we didn't do the walk up on like the Disneyland side.
But I used
You did?
I
Okay.
used both at times. Yeah. So, and then this is not necessarily theme park related, but in some ways it is. So Disney has canceled the the Tiana Disney Plus series that they had previously announced, which it is related to the theme park space because this series was supposed to dive into some of the backstory of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is a bummer because now Tiana's Bayou Adventure kind of stands alone. And I think that there are some fun characters in that attraction that they definitely could have built upon. So
It's the
I'm
Galaxy's
bummed
Edge
about
of Disney princesses. Just, we'll never know.
it. Yep. That storyline now just exists.
Very interesting.
Speaking of Walt Disney World, they have adjusted. This is also super specific, but it's relevant information. They've adjusted down their down payments and monthly payments for annual passes at Walt Disney World. The prices of the actual annual passes have not changed at all. They're the same prices, but you do not have to put as much of a down payment down. So it only requires a $99 down payment. As opposed to in the past, the different like tiers had down payments of, I think there was like $205 down payments is what it was before. Interesting move. I don't know. You could definitely analyze that, and there's definitely a reason why they chose to do that. I find it interesting with Epic opening this summer and them wanting to tap into their local theme park goers. So. Yeah, I don't know how much that affects a lot of people. It went down $106, but it didn't go down.
Barrier
You still
to
are paying
entry
for
is
it.
a
Your
little
monthly
lower.
payments will be more expensive. Correct.
On another interesting note, I am now an annual
Interesting
pass
little
holder
move.
to 3 premier parks. Excuse me. The Knott's Berry Farm, it was an impulse buy, I'll admit, and I still haven't done the research of if I did the right thing or not, because I bought my annual pass at Knott's and put the all-park pass, so that gets Six Flags parks. It's the one we talked about. It's like 27 theme parks throughout the U.S. I am worried because as Six Flags has done this merger, they're talking about dropping certain theme parks or like closing certain gates, and I'm like, worst case scenario, they close Knott's, and my annual pass for Knott's like goes bad, and I don't know what that would mean. I don't know the fine print. I didn't read it, but I thought it was cool. Now I have a little Knott's card instead of a Six Flags Over Texas card, but it works there. And then Fort Worth Zoo, shout out, represent, and Universal. So I need like a
Which you need to. Use
I need
that
a wallet
Universal
or
pass at some
something
point.
like for annual passes. Disney will not be on there anytime soon. Yeah.
They're pricey. There was something I was going to add to that. Oh, I didn't realize there was a Six Flags.
Yeah, it was
in
north of the
California,
studio lot.
like in the LA area.
Yeah, Magic
Up in the hills,
Mountain, I think. Yeah. Oh, look at me.
Magic
I'm a
Mountain.
Six Flags expert.
Yeah.
I am. I know
you're a
everything
pass
about
holder,
all
yeah.
27 Cedar. Is it Cedar Fair? I don't. Oh gosh. Cedar Point. Yeah, Cedar Point, Six
Point.
Flags, Knott's, all the above.
Yeah.
Carowinds.
You tried to tell me to do that as well, and I was like,
Aren't you gonna like find yourself in like North Carolina and be like, wow, I want to go to this? You know.
I don't think anytime soon, especially in the next year with the
I
third
don't
child
know.
on the way.
I could see myself like as part of like doing stuff for this podcast, looking and seeing like, okay, I can get a flight to New Jersey round trip this weekend for $100. Let's do that and go to Six Flags up there or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how impulsive I get this summer.
See.
Yeah.
I will not be impulsive this summer. So on the subject of Walt Disney World, this isn't huge news, but they released a new poster for the new Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away parade. The poster didn't necessarily reveal anything new, but they also released some additional concept art, and it looks to be that it doesn't look to be. Basically, they confirmed that there will be a new Cocoa float in the parade, which I'm very excited about. The Cocoa float in Magic Happens that happened
I was about to
over
say,
at
I've
Disneyland.
seen a Cocoa float
is
before. Where did I see it? But okay.
Yeah, that one's incredible. This one is more. It's giving more Dia de los Muertos vibes because it's showing him in
the other
the
one was
city
the bridge.
as like
Like the pedal bridge.
Yeah, which they both look like they have bridges. It just looks like they're going to be able to do a lot more with the lighting effects of this one because it's a nighttime parade. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm shocked that we don't have an opening or starting date for that parade yet. I feel like it confuses me because I feel like Disney, that will create a little bit of hype and buzz. It's one of the only big things that we have coming this summer to Walt Disney World. And so that news would combat or bring in guests that are already planning their trips to Orlando for Epic. So you'd think that they would like start to create some more hype and buzz around that by announcing a date so that people are booking.
Sounds like they're just punting to next year. Just being like, let them have their moment and then we'll swoop in year 2.
I do think that they're fascinated to see how Epic goes. I think they're fascinated to just kind of sit back and watch. They're not threatened by Epic, and I don't think that they necessarily need to be threatened quite yet. I think that Disney is still going to be the powerhouse of theme parks in Orlando. People are going to plan their trips to come to Walt Disney World. But I do think, obviously, that they've put things into motion to respond to Epic, which goes into our conversation about the announcements that were made. So there's a big conference.
I'll take over here. South by Southwest Austin, Texas. That's where the Disney news drops. Okay, now you can take over. I just wanted to announce that.
That's what you've got.
I had no idea what was happening. Well, I knew South by Southwest was happening, but it didn't register that, like all the
Josh Jamaro was doing a panel presentation.
Didn't even know. Had no idea. I was in Austin too last week, but it was I was in Austin right before. But
missed opportunity.
Anyways, it would have been cool to go. Should have definitely covered that.
Yeah. Could have been boots on the ground.
Oh well.
But yeah, there was a lot of information that came out of that. Again,
Well, they showed there were Monsters Inc. 3D rendering.
I don't want to say brand new announcements, but gave us specifics.
They gave us details, which the Monsters Inc. attraction, I really like the load room for that because you're literally going to be like in the scare floor on the load room, and I see the theme. Like I was worried for a little bit, but now I think I'm seeing it. Like you're going to have the scare floor in the distance as you enter the land. You're going to walk, or like the Monsters Inc. building, and then you'll walk the queue, you'll get into the scare room, and then you'll go on the attraction. I see it all now. So that's really coming together. And then I thought it was interesting that they're just driving Rangers and other things like around a ranch, I guess, to be like, let's plan out what Cars is going to be like, which this is going to be, it's going to be interesting because it's a lot of like off-roading. Test Track already has so many problems because of like the tires and the brakes and everything, and it's flat, right? There's that little, I don't even know if they do the suspension test anymore or if they will, but I can only imagine with it being like so off-roading heavy and like suspension heavy bumps and all that kind of stuff, these vehicles are going to get beat up. Maintenance is going to be crazy, I think, but who's to say?
Yeah. So they did confirm. I mean, again, they made all of these announcements and showed us a lot of the concept. All of this stuff is subject to change.
Yeah.
Like it could definitely change based on how far they are in the Imagineering process. But it did look like the attraction is on a track that is probably going to be buried to some capacity.
Yeah, it looked less Test Track speed and more like dinosaur speed.
It looks very Indiana.
Where it's on a track,
Jones.
It's going to be driving off road, and I feel like it's going to be more like exploring and less thrill. Kind of like a dark ride outside. It's going to just take you through scene to scene, stuff like that. Yeah. Imagine like the first half of the Cars ride at California Adventure.
Yeah, and with maybe it going a little faster than that. I think that they're marketing it obviously though towards children, so it's going to be a ride that people who are shorter would be able to do as well. So I'm excited. I think that it looks cool. There's all kinds of frustration on Diz Twitter if anybody ever
on how to save Tom Sawyer's Island
that world.
And it could fit if they just
more so
around.
River, more so no, yeah. People are just upset about Rivers of America leaving, which I understand. Like I'm going to miss the ambiance of Rivers of America. When's the last time that I got onto that steamboat? Probably over a year ago. I don't venture to Tom Sawyer Island often or ever. So it's not that like those things I'm going to have a hard time departing from. I will miss the ambiance though. I will miss standing on the bridge headed over to Big Thunder Mountain and looking over the water, seeing the castle off in the distance. Those are some of my favorite views at Magic Kingdom. So yeah, those things will be missed for sure, but I think that this land is going to be incredible. Cars Land at DCA is one of the best themed lands at a Disney park. And so I think they will do it justice based on what they've developed out in
I envision
California.
the national park section of DCA. And that's what I'm hoping for. That kind of vibe.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. Yeah, so they announced that they went to Arizona for a lot of the inspiration for a lot of this. So it'll be cool. I'm excited, looking forward to it. And then also just going back, the lift for the Monsters Inc. coaster, it's I don't remember the actual terminology for it, but you said it. They're suspending you up into the air once you're lifted onto the coaster. So it's not a typical lift in terms of
elevator.
climb or
track elevates, and there's not going to be
truly,
like a chain lift hill or maybe even a launch. It's just going to kind of lift you up. You're going to get to the level of where the doors disappear. It's basically it's literally like the way the door gets picked up. It's picking it up, raising it up, goes on the track, and then sends it off. Yeah.
Which looks like so much fun. Slightly terrifying for those of us who have a fear of heights, but it's a lot of fun. They also shared some specifics about the Stark Flight Lab coming to Avenger Campus. This attraction is a giant no for me.
Just is it wearing
I'm not gonna lie.
VR goggles, or is it open? Okay.
They've not announced
I thought
that.
I saw someone wearing VR goggles while they were in that, but maybe not.
Maybe. It says a simulated test flight, so maybe
me.
they do have VR goggles on. It looks like the same ride system
it
as
is, pretty much.
Forbidden Journey that you use there, and that ride system just really like makes you a little queasy. I feel like Forbidden Journey though at least tells a story. This one doesn't feel like it has a lot of storytelling to it. It's just
You're
you
gonna do some flight
training
testing.
on Avengers Campus. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun to me.
Okay.
So. Yeah, just being honest, this is not one that I would be rushing to ride. I would do it to experience it one time, but I do feel like it would give me a little bit of motion sickness. So
DCA needs the attractions.
yeah. Also, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run mission is getting updated. We knew that already, but we have a specific date for that, which is May 22nd, 2026. It feels like forever away. People were like, why are we announcing this right now? It's because they were making fun, new, and exciting announcements. But it's also, that is the day that the new Mandalorian movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, releases in theaters. So my plan for May 22nd, 2026 is to wake up, go to the attraction, and then go see the movie.
The other way around.
Why?
Yeah.
Spoilers. Maybe. I also will probably end up seeing the movie Thursday night and then waking up Friday morning
I feel like,
and going to see the attraction. But I do think it's funny that they made this announcement about May 22nd, and that's the day that Epic opens.
But then they hit
year.
you with that 2026. They're like, May 22nd, pause.
Yeah.
2026. But it does take a long time to add a new, I guess, story into that attraction. One, are they running concurrently, or is it just switching over? Or is it like one or the other? Okay. So it has to be switching. The exact same length as the previous one. And it's really hard on those. It's not like a Star Tours where it's just one viewpoint going through, because you can control up, down, side to side. It's literally like they're creating a new video game where you can be anywhere in that story at once, with a different viewpoint. That's why it had a bunch of glitches when it first started. But yeah, different.
Yeah, I'm excited. Mm-hmm. Should be pretty fun. So, and then, like I said, lots of news. A lot of information came out about the 70th anniversary celebration over at Disneyland. They're just adding a lot of fun new things. They're adding nods to the 70th anniversary celebration in Toy Story Midway Mania. So some of the screens are going to have like 70s on them, stuff like that. That'll be fun. They have a new cavalcade called the Celebrate Happy Cavalcade. It's going to be featuring Duffy and for the first time, Shelly May. I maybe you can fact check me on the first time, but I do know that it's a big deal that Shelly May is coming to a park in the United States of America because she's been international the entire time. You have no idea who Shelly May is, do you? Shelly May is one of the
I know
Duffy and Friends characters.
She's like, okay. She hangs out with Duffy. She's a bear.
She's a bear.
Okay.
Yeah, she's one of
I think I've met Shelly May at Epcot. Remember? Am I off? Was I just meeting Duffy?
I don't know. Maybe you're fact checking me there and confirming that I'm wrong.
I've definitely
she
seen
has been
Duffy
in the Walt Disney World
at
parks.
Epcot. I don't know if Shelly May.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Duffy's. I don't know. She might have shown up before, but she's not often found in the parks within the United States. Duffy and Friends are like, I know that in the parks over in Asia, they're very like prominent and they're a big deal like out there. And I think there's a lot of a fan base for them here in the States. And so people are very excited about her being in this cavalcade. We also know that the new World of Color Happiness show, which is going to be starting for the 70th, will feature a special can't talk tonight. A special message for more than a dozen of the Muppets, and Boys to Men will lend their legendary R&B vocals in a rendition of Rainbow Connection. So, some Muppets moments in
Is this the Muppet Apology Tour? Or
I guess so. I've been on record to say that the Muppets are not
Rainbow
my favorite,
Connection is a great song. Gotta admit.
It is. It's a good song. And I think that Boys to Men singing that will be fantastic.
I feel like it was just a little bit ago they had the 60th. Because I was there on like a family vacation on the 60th. And then the next time that I went was with you, like in 2023. And then literally two times since. I don't know. Time flies.
We've
since
been
2023.
3 times since.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Disneyland guy since 2023 than I am Disney World. That's saying something.
Yeah. But the 60th would have been 10 years ago.
I was
Just saying.
Wow. I was 19.
Right.
Wait. No, I was 20. Anyways. Just aged myself.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it.
Midlife crisis, what can I say? Why do you think this podcast started?
Not midlife.
I'm kidding.
I don't know. Okay.
Midlife
I don't
crisis.
really know how to interpret that, actually. You started the podcast because of
everything.
midlife crisis.
It was the motorcycle, the podcast. It's all happening at once. I'm just kidding. I don't have a motorcycle.
Oh, wow. Also, 30 is not midlife either,
I mean,
so
you never know.
No. No. Anyways. All right.
More news?
There's the news. That's all I got. Do you have anything?
I think you about covered it. Yeah. Yep. Nope. That's it. Oh, droids. Did you talk about the BDX droids?
Right. I didn't. No,
we got to see those in
to
person at
Walt Disney
D23,
World.
which they're interesting.
We did.
I feel like
they were designed after ducks.
They're also designed after BD from the Star Wars video game. Oh my gosh.
Right.
It's escaping me. Yes.
The name of the game?
With Cal Kestis.
Jedi.
Something. Fallen
Jedi
Order.
Order or something.
But then there was another one that I haven't been able to play yet. But yeah, that's where the BD droid. I was first introduced to the BD droid. Someone's going to say that it came out in Comic 17 years ago, and I'm going to forget. But
did you see how that droid came out onto the stage?
It waddled, or it was a box.
Well, it was being rated on by one of the species of. Oh my gosh, what is his name? He's one
Babu?
of your favorites.
Babu Frick was riding
Babu Frick. One of his, I don't know if it was Babu Frick specifically, but one of his kind
Kojimi.
was riding on the top of it. Yeah, but he was like a little mini.
We need to get him out there. What are we doing? They need a window.
Yeah.
This is where Galaxy's Edge went wrong, because all of these little windows and stuff could have been Like literally the Hall of Presidents Muppet style. Like the window opens and someone an animatronic sticks their head out and kind of like looks at you, says a couple things, and goes back in, does their business. But anyways, I just have ideas. I don't work at Disney, so yeah, ideas are cheap.
Maybe one day. All right, ready to jump into our listener
ready.
questions.
Let's learn about each other.
Starting off with, if you had to get rid of a ride in each park, what would you do? Like which ride would you get rid of in each park? Let's stick specifically to Walt Disney
I thought
World.
Disneyland was my home park.
I will go first.
I'm kidding.
Well, you can do Disneyland and I'll do Walt Disney World. All right, Walt Disney World for sure. At Epcot, getting rid of Mission Space. No questions about it. Get out. Don't need it.
A ride or attraction? We're talking ride, like with a ride vehicle? All right, cool.
It says ride. So, I mean, I guess
it is a ride.
Mission
No, I'm
Space
thinking of
not
all the
considered a
shows
ride
through the World
then?
Showcase that I would dump before Mission Space, but okay.
Oh. Yeah, no. I would say a ride. The Magic Kingdom, I'm going to get rid of the flying carpets. I feel like they're unnecessary. I enjoy them,
space up a little
but there's
bit, yeah?
others. Open the space up, and we already have Dumbo, so we don't need both. At Animal Kingdom, they're getting, well, I guess that's a show. It's Tough to Be a Bug is literally going away this weekend, so
That's not a ride.
piece.
All right.
But
Animal Kingdom's
I know.
tough because all the rides are good. Well,
in Triceratops
Already
Spin,
gone, can't
they've
do
gotten
that.
rid of.
don't say
Yeah,
dinosaur
so you
just
can't
because
use
it's
that.
leaving.
No, I wouldn't say dinosaur. There's not many options at Animal Kingdom. There are not many rides.
There's
I guess
two, and I think
I
you're
have
going
to
to
go.
with the one in Asia.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of
You're not a
Collie
Rapids
River
guy.
Rapids. I am. I like a good rapid if I'm prepared and ready for it. Just because I didn't ride it with you guys
And
that one day.
you were
doesn't
scared
mean
of the
I'm not a
log
rapids
flume
guy.
at Knott's Berry Farm, but luckily it was closed for the season. Exactly.
No, I didn't.
That's
wanna
why I
get
said you're
wet.
not a
That's
you're
my
not a Rapids
thing.
guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have to be
You
prepared.
have to bring your
for
extra
it. I have to have
socks. That's
extra
what I was going to
socks,
say.
if you know
Let's
what I
go.
mean. Yeah.
That's why I'm always prepared for a Rapids ride because I always got extra socks.
And then at Hollywood Studios, what ride would I get rid of? That's also a difficult one because there's really not a ton of rides. No. Honestly, this is tough because
Why
I don't want to
not?
get rid of alien swirling saucers. I love it. It's
dear.
so much fun.
You know,
have so
I
many
went on
memories
that,
with Luke.
with Bash on our last trip. And the first time he rode it, it was when he was just tall enough and he loved it. The second time we rode it was after Slinky Dog Dash. And I could tell he was just like, okay, this is something. Like, he was just like, I want to go back on Slinky Dog
It's
Dash.
so fun though. Like
this
during
is
the
lame.
holidays. Yeah, during the holidays it plays like fun overlay music. I really love it. I think I'd get rid of Smuggler's Run. That or Star Tours.
Yikers again.
But Star Tours is nostalgic.
I don't know.
It's the classic.
Star Tours is just...
I'd rather have Star Tours than Smuggler's Run. I don't love Smuggler's Run. I
My heart
ride it,
breaks
but it's
every
not
time
my
I get in
favorite.
the line for Star Tours and I turn around and look at the back of the AT-AT and you just remember that it's a set piece and they wanted you to know it was a set piece. And then you're brought back to the original days of MGM Studios where it was all about movie magic and how they make movie magic and how that park is not that anymore. And it just makes me sad. So it's a vicious cycle. But anyways...
Well, I don't know that I landed specifically on one, but I don't think I'm getting rid of
just said
aliens.
the one that
from
you're not
swirling
getting rid of.
saucers.
Okay.
So
Okay. Let's start with the easy ones. Studios, get rid of swirling saucers. Oh, is that the only easy one? Animal Kingdom, Navi River Journey. Yeah.
that was a thought of mine.
I think
but
that has to be. It has to be that one.
I'd rather see Kali River Rapids.
I enjoy
like that
the
animatronic.
adrenaline you get from Kali River Rapids. Where am I at? Epcot. Oh, Epcot. Frozen Ever After. Don't have
Yeah,
any
I knew you were
interest.
going to say that.
It's, you know, Yeah, that's my opinion. No further comment. Magic Kingdom. See, Magic Carpets is the easy answer.
Thanks.
I'll probably go with Magic Carpets. Yeah. I mean,
What else would you do?
I think just Magic Carpets. I think that's it. Or Small World, but then people get upset about Small World. I just thinking of the ones that I haven't ridden in the longest time. Although I think Magic Carpets might be higher up there because it didn't have a wait. And didn't we ride it on the marathon? Didn't we hop on? No, it wasn't open yet at that point.
Magic
Okay.
Carpets? No.
Yeah.
No, we rode
Okay.
Triceratops Spin.
I'll say Magic Carpets.
Well,
Agreeance.
There you have it. There's our list. Someone said, "What is Zoe's middle name?" Elizabeth.
Elizabeth
Gets it from her
Turner.
mother. Yep. Nick, if you were to be a cast member, what would be your dream role? My dream role would be to be a VIP tour guide. I would love it so much. It is right up my alley. I would be. It would make my day to be able to just like connect with different people every day, hear their life story, spend the entire day catering to like all of their needs, trying to make as much magic happen for them. What do you want from Starbucks? Great, I'll go get it. What do you want for a snack? Awesome, I'll go get it. I do that in my
And
regular
that used
life
to be your,
anyways.
your full-time
and so
career. Like assistant to, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Well,
that
yeah,
was for
but
one
you
person.
could have a VIP tour where it's just one guy. You're just like, all right, buddy, what are we doing today?
Yeah. But I would love it. I would love getting to like learn their life stories and all that kind of stuff. So, and there's not many people that intimidate me. So if they put me with some major celebrity, I'd be like, okay, great. Don't really care. Like, I mean, I care, but like, you're just another person to me. I have a job to do, and let's get to know each other. So. There's more questions in here specifically for Hunter. We will get to them. Yeah. If you could only eat one snack for a whole Walt Disney World day, but it's free, what would you pick? At Walt Disney World. I guess I could eat it whenever I wanted to, so I don't have to eat it all of the time. The thing that jumps into my brain immediately is cheeseburgers.
Is that a snack?
Actually,
That sounds like a meal.
yeah. No,
I
they're
think-
snacks. But they would be
Well,
they
what
would
if we're
constitute
like
as,
talking
Disney
snack
snacks.
cart here? I think there's like you go where do you get those? Where do you get the spring roll things? I'm serious.
Are you joking? do you even Disney?
Like I said,
outside of Adventureland
Disney-
at the
there's a
spring roll cart?
Oh,
Yes.
I
Have you
think
never
you-
had a spring roll?
you let me have a bite of one
Oh.
of yours once because you said something like you got to try this, and I was like, ugh. They're like
I don't think you would
veggies,
like
right?
the cheeseburger one.
No, all right. Me and my veggies.
What are you talking about? I like the
Pizza spring rolls.
ones a little bit more
Okay,
than the
that sounds
cheeseburger
good.
ones. Yeah. They're amazing. How have you never had that before? You worked
I didn't
there.
go to Adventureland for the spring rolls. I don't know.
What? Wow. Well, that's what I would choose. You're suggesting
Oh, that's
that
a
it has to come
snack
from
cart,
a,
I
like,
guess.
snack
Is
cart?
that not? Is it a wheelable
it is.
cart that
Yeah.
can move? Wow. Okay.
Yes.
It could.
I
if
mean, they don't
if
move
you-
it, but it's there. It's like the churro stands that are in the
Okay.
hub,
Okay.
but even smaller.
Wow. So that falls within the criteria.
The next time that you're at Magic Kingdom, we're going.
I
to
might
get-
I might add pizza spring rolls to my. What are they like? Pizza rolls?
Yeah.
Are they like
as a
molten
spring
on the
roll.
inside and burn your mouth just like pizza rolls, fresh out of the oven?
They can. Yeah.
Cool.
They absolutely
Cool.
can. You have to be careful. Yeah. But they're flaky because they're spring rolls.
But I mean, I didn't know about those. So before those, I was thinking maybe like a pretzel, just because I feel like you can put a few pretzels
Yeah.
back. But if you gave me,
They just get dry
I have
after a while.
PTSD from eating 16 churros in 2 days.
Yeah. I couldn't do churros either. I love churros, and if it was Disneyland, it might be a different story.
Yeah, I
but
just
Walt
want to
Disney
give
World,
everybody a
not
piece
so
of
much.
advice out there. If you really like something, don't eat 15 of them in 2 days as a challenge because it will make you not like them as much.
That was a little bit.
So that's why I only get one Jolly Holiday cinnamon roll each day. Some days I'll get two, but it's okay.
If you had to live, eat, sleep, hang out at one Disney resort for the rest of your life, which one would you choose? Mine would be the Polynesian, hands down. It's got the food that I love, especially with the Poly Tower edition. The food there is incredible. I love the views from the Polynesian.
Live, eat,
everything
sleep. You're including Poly Tower in there? That's kind of a hack.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of it. I mean, even if it was just the Poly and the Poly Tower didn't exist, then I'd be fine with just the Poly. But why not?
Yeah.
Put it all together.
I don't know why my mind was going to Fort Wilderness for a little bit. And then you started talking about food. And then I was like, I don't know if I could do Hoop-de-Doo Review and those every night. Yeah. I was
Pioneer
like, I might need a little variety in my food choices, but
yeah. I may or may not be staying in one of the cabins.
Well, that'll be fun
in the very near future.
I just feel like being in a cabin. Like if I can't, how long do I have to live here? My gosh, give me a cabin, please. Don't put me in a stuffy hotel. I need a cabin. I need some space. Yeah. And then I'll deal with Pioneer Hall. I mean, I'll find the secret menu or whatever they've got. I'm going to have a smoker on the front porch, and I'll be making my own barbecue. I'll be ordering Uber Eats groceries. I'll have a full-on brisket.
Yeah, no, you have to eat and sleep and hang out at the resort. You ain't going to Publix.
From Pioneer Hall before they put it in their little smoker. I'll put it in my Traeger.
Oh, jeez.
I have a Traeger.
I don't think you have one of those. No, I mean like
ordered
at
it on
your
Amazon.
cabin.
And assembled it with my Blackstone.
Oh, jeez. What ride made in the last few years will stand the test of time and become a classic?
What ride in the last few years is part of this? Are we talking before Rise of the Resistance, after Rise of the Resistance? Rise, Mickey
I would say
Minis,
Rise
Tron,
and beyond.
Guardians
of the Galaxy.
I don't know about Guardians, Cosmic Rewind.
They're not. The thing is that they're all going to. I mean, the only things that could change is Mickey Minnie's Runaway
is
Railway
not
could
going to
change
stand the
eventually.
test of time.
Tron's not going anywhere. There's
But
no
Tron
way
is
that
so
they're going to be
futuristic
like,
that it's going to be not futuristic. You know what I mean?
Tron is from the 80s. That was over 40 years ago. The building of Tron, that's not going anywhere. That is going to.
Given what they did to poor Galactic Star Cruiser, I don't know if Galaxy's Edge is safe. Maybe they're just going to close the whole thing one day.
I do think Rise of the Resistance is absolutely incredible, and it should stand the test of time. Because the love of Star Wars also will stand the test of time.
I think it will get an overlay.
Be a fan base.
Or not an overlay. It'll get an update, maybe down the line.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren at some point, people are going to be like, all right, we got something new here. So I feel like it might, and I feel like it could be updated very, not easily, but I feel like it could. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is now. I guess.
I also don't think Guardians of the Galaxy is going to go anywhere either. I don't know. But the characters aren't really they're not the selling point of that attraction. The attraction itself is what people run out for.
I just say anything at Epcot Hollywood Studios is not safe. It's never safe. So either Tiana's Bayou Adventure or Tron will probably never change in our lifetime.
Yeah, I could see Tiana's
Tron it is.
One day.
Never changes.
And then we've got, what's the most underrated ride in any Disney park? I don't know. Underrated?
Soaring over California. It is. It's everybody sleeps on it, but it is the best.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's fun.
Darn.
But I don't know that I would consider that to be the most underrated.
What else then? Underrated.
I have a hot take. I like Space Mountain at Walt Disney World more than I do at
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
It just
a lot
spins
of people
you.
will,
You do the same helix the whole time.
Yeah, I get why people don't love Walt Disney World. Like, I get that it's a backbreaker. It's not a backbreaker like Matterhorn can be. And
It's got character.
I don't know. I just like it. I like our it's like our old Space Mountain. It's fun. I enjoy it. And I hope that they
Space
never
Mountain
change it.
in Disneyland feels like they tried to fit too big of a roller coaster in too small of a building, where Space Mountain in Walt Disney World feels like, just right.
Yeah. I love the overlays. I will say that riding it, Space Mountain at Disneyland as Hyperspace Mountain was very cool.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really fun
What was the
experience,
question?
But what is the most underrated ride in any park? But I wouldn't say that Space Mountain's underrated because people love it. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Soarin'.
You said
I was trying to
Soarin'.
think
That's
of another
fine.
one,
That's
but
a good
yeah, I'm
one.
going to stick with Soarin'.
Yeah. Kilimanjaro
Underrated?
Safari, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe
It's
I
highly
guess
rated.
people rate that high too. It just doesn't usually have a very long wait time, and so I guess maybe I think people just kind of sleep on it. But it is like what there are not many theme parks that you can go to where you sit and literally
Isn't it
go
like
through a
Busch
safari.
Gardens or something
Like
has
it's
one?
wild,
Okay.
literally wild.
So there's two.
But not many.
Not me naming off 5 in a row.
I'm sure
Doesn't
there's more
Busch
than that,
Gardens
but-
this and that all have? No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Anyways. All right, Hunter. How was your
That's good.
DCP?
Fall 2015,
There you have
worked
it,
at Pooh
folks.
Cups, Winnie the Pooh, Mad Tea Party Attractions, Magic Kingdom, cross-trained to TTC parking. I got to drive the trams. One of the most exciting jobs you can have on Disney property, and free, like not free like in terms of money or cost, but like free in terms of do whatever you want, is to be a spieler on the back of the trams in the parking lots. Especially at the TTC, because you have a long tram ride and you can tell a lot of jokes and you can say whatever you want, and it's just a fun time. Also got to drive a truck with flashing lights on top, like a pickup truck at like 3 a.m. and wheelchair duty. That's always fun to go wheelchair hunting in the parking lots. What else did I do? Yeah. Did an engineering course and did Dewey, Disney's Ultimate Engineering Experience, I think is what it's called, and Tech Behind the Dreams. So 2 things where you go behind the scenes. One was a little more serious than the other, but yeah. Did like engineering coursework, tied it in, worked attractions, worked at Winnie the Pooh, so it was lax. No, it was pretty chill. Only had to hit the E-stop one time.
Good.
Some guy jumped onto the electrified rail to grab his cell phone. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Some people just don't understand. They're just like, please, sir, please don't. And he looks you right in the eyes and he goes down to get it. And you're just like, bah, E-stop. But a lot of evacs on Winnie the Pooh. Let me tell you, that's one of the ones that gets evac most of the time, because at evacs, just some people understand. Some people probably just hit plus 15 3 times and you can skip over this. But the funny thing about Winnie the Pooh, the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, if you will, is that it basically cascades into an E-stop, which that happens on a lot of other attractions, but the way the sensors are on Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, it happens quite often. So if you take too long to load, and you end up getting in, if you start looking at like the dispatch cast member, they start to look a little antsy because they've got like 25 seconds until this thing E-stops and they gotta evac everybody off the ride. So they're like gently pushing you along, like, okay, let's go, green, go, and they slam the deal and do it. But yeah, it can cascade into an E-stop. You're evacing everybody. I was doing 2 to 3 evacs a day. I feel like, oh yeah.
Really? Where do they evac?
Yeah, just
right out of
right
the
behind. We used to walk in to dispatch on rotation through the gate behind dispatch. That's like right by where you meet Pooh and Piglet and all them, and it's literally right on the track. But then they locked it, and we have to go all the way around through load because it's not safe anymore to walk into the line of the track while it's operating. But yeah, you evac just right there. If you're in the middle of the ride, you either what is the split point? I think Dream Sequence and Heffalumps and Woozles, that's like the split point. So if you make it to Heffalumps and Woozles, you get to walk through the rest of the attraction. If you're in Dream or the Tigger Room, you get to walk back the way you came. Yeah. But there's all kinds of pressure mats, IR lasers, all kinds of stuff in there. It's cool. And if you ever see a honey pot with the top taken off, it looks crazy. All kinds of wires, electronics. But this concludes the Winnie the Pooh portion of the show.
There's actual honey in there, obviously.
Yeah, it's as real as the honey wall.
Yeah.
Go ahead, take a lick. Let me know how it tastes. You wouldn't be the first or the 101st.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And teacups is cool too, but yeah, whatever.
Thought?
I know exactly when the teacups ends because it always ends with the teapot on the top pointing to the same lantern on its rotation. Like, it, yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's cool. After you watch it so many times,
the teacups always end where they started. Where you would think it's like maybe it mixes up every time, but no, they always return to home. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I always thought that I was in a different space.
And Mad Tea Party has a fun little dispatch, like a little room that you can hang out in. It's like a little toll booth kind of looking thing. But another fun fact. Again, skip ahead 30 if you want. But this won't take 30 seconds. Teacups is one of the attractions that has remote dispatch. So the person walking around the attraction is running the attraction, and it runs autonomously. Like once it gets started, you don't have your hand on an e-stop or anything. So you have a button, like a transmitter button in your pocket, and if you ever need to stop the ride, hit the transmitter button, ride stops. And so
cool.
Interesting. It's a cool thing. It's literally powered by a remote control.
DCP.
Someone walk around.
That's cool. Thoughts on running next year with my son, who is turning 5? Any tips? Would springtime be best? Well, interesting you ask. Today was registration day for the marathon weekend in 2026, which is very exciting. Registered for Dopey. It'll be my three-peat of Dopey. I'm very excited. Can't wait. But running with your 5-year-old son who's turning 5, have fun. If you do the 5K, which is all you're going to be able to do based on his age, just have fun with it. The springtime tends to be warmer than the rest of all of the weekends. It tends to be the most humid, which is not always the most pleasant experience. That being said, the 5K is going to get done before the sun is even up, so that's not going to be a huge factor for you. But also, it is very humid. Even before the sun comes up in Florida, it tends to be very humid. So it would be one of the warmest weekends for sure. It just depends on what you guys are used to. You also could get stuck with a very, very cold 5K, which is what we had this past race weekend with Princess Weekend and
with
also
a 5-year-old
marathon weekend. And so I did it with my boys, and Ethan is 6, and he was freezing the entire race and walked most of it, which is what's going to happen anyways. They're going to get sick of running and they're just going to want to walk, and that's fine. You can do that with the 5K. There's no pacers, so you can just have fun and relax and enjoy the course. If they want to stop for a character, stop for a character. Really, go into it with lower expectations in terms of we're going to get in there and we're just going to run and we're going to finish it. No, just go and have fun. That's the point of Run Disney. A lot of people go to PR, and that's awesome and that's fantastic, and a lot of people run the entire time. There are people who finish the 5K in 17 minutes, but I say go enjoy
at that point, just
have a good
run
time.
a few miles around your resort property. I mean,
yeah. But I also think too, make it special for your kiddo. Make them feel like they're $1 million because they got a medal and they finished the race. Even if they walked half of it, they did it. They got out there. It is so early in the morning for a kid to get out there. It is. Ethan was not excited. He was like, get me back to bed.
Was Castaway a 5K?
Just have fun.
It
Enjoy
was
your
5K.
time.
Huh.
It was.
That felt like a
did
long
that with
ways.
Luke.
We also ran kind of fast, but
yeah.
That'd be a good first 5K if you find yourself on a Disney cruise. It's not as scenic, and you can kind of get stuck out in the middle of nowhere and be like, all right, well. Yeah.
It's more of an adventure for sure, but make sure your kid goes to the bathroom before you start that 5K, because there are no restrooms on the course, and that is an issue that we ran into with Luke. So.
Learn from our mistakes.
Yes. What did we study in university? So what did we study in school? What, if you could choose any other major now, what would we choose? I feel like you wouldn't change
I don't know. I didn't really use my major a whole lot. Well,
Who does?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, not many people do. I would say. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people. I don't know that people who are 18 years old know
Well,
themselves
I beg to
well
differ.
enough to
Nowadays
know.
in high school, they're literally doing like career placement, like first year, second year of high school,
Yeah.
and they're putting like, okay, kids are getting put in like a welding course or like auto tech courses, like all kinds of stuff, like through high school. Which when I was in high school, I had no idea. I went as a business major and then decided to switch. I switched to physics and graduated with a physics major after my first year. But yeah.
But that's what I mean. When you're 18, you don't. And this isn't the same for everybody, because there are people who pick their field and stick with it, and they do that for the rest of their life, and that's awesome. But I would argue to say a lot of 18-year-olds don't know themselves well enough to know what they want for their future and what they want out of their life.
Well, yeah.
I didn't
either.
I mean, I
thought
knew
it was
myself.
going to work somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a kids pastor, and I was, and I ended up being that for a period of time. I've never actually really talked about that on the internet before, but yeah, I was for a season. And I studied theology in school, and then I had a minor in social work. I wanted to start my own nonprofit organization. Francie and I actually, when we were in college, we had dreams of starting our own like orphanage. We wanted to plant orphanages overseas and help run those. We always had hearts for adoption. And I started my own nonprofit organization when I was in college. It was called Miracle Toys. And I would collect toys from like, it was mostly like Happy Meal toys that you would get through a drive-through, because in the States, those are very undervalued. A kid plays with it for like 2 seconds and then they lose it in the car, or it goes into like the Goodwill bin immediately. And so I had a lot of friends and family members that were educators, and so they would just have buckets in their classrooms and would collect those toys, and then I would get all of those toys, bring them, have them shipped to the university, and then would pack them all and then send them in luggage. The university that I went to send out missions teams every year, and so they would go all over the world during spring break or over the summer, and so I would coordinate with those missions teams and then send them boxes full of toys so that they could take those toys and then deliver them to the kids. And I actually got to go on one of those trips to Costa Rica and take a bunch of toys.
This
with
was
us
in college
on our trip, and yeah. So yeah, it was cool. It was that was my passion, and that's why social work was a component of that. Obviously, I love people, and then I graduated with my bachelor's in theology, minor in social work, and then went and did my master's. I have my MBA, and I did a 10-month program for that. So kicked my butt, finished it in 10 months, but it was cool. I got to go to El Salvador as a part of that program. We studied in El Salvador for a week. It was a crash course. We got 3 credit hours in that week. We worked our tails off, but we worked with a company in El Salvador that was doing a lot of outreach as well. And they would partner with local communities and teach them how to build tilapia farms so that it would create jobs, it would create employment, it would create an opportunity for people to make money. And so we learned how that connected to like the churches within those communities as well. So it was cool. Traveled a little bit in college, mostly to Latin America. And yeah, unfortunately the nonprofit, like once I left school, life happened, got engaged, got married, all of that happened. So I didn't get to do a whole lot, but it was really cool. Miracle Toys, the name Miracle was developed because Francie and I first met on a missions trip out to Los Angeles. And we went and worked at a kids center. And one of the little girls, Francie and I were not dating at the time. We were just really like close friends. But one of the little girls attached herself to Francie the entire time. She didn't want to leave Francie's side. And her name was Miracle. And so that little girl was like super special to both of us. I have pictures of Francie and little Miracle. And it was really sad when we had to leave because Miracle was so upset. But she kind of helped inspire the name of the nonprofit organization that I started. And Francie, we were dating when I started that nonprofit, and she helped a lot. We worked together on packing toys and shipping them out.
So. I was taking quantum physics and differential equations. Yeah.
cool
Dang,
stuff,
didn't
though.
know that. Didn't know you had a nonprofit. Very cool.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I did my MBA, because I wanted to run nonprofits, and now I work in the theme park space.
It's the opposite of a nonprofit.
Yeah. You just one of the things that happens after you graduate from college is you go where the work is, and it's not always necessarily you're not landing in your field. Although, like I a lot of what I learned I use in my everyday life for sure. I use theology, absolutely, I use in my everyday life, but then also my MBA, it sharpens skills in me that have enabled me to get to where I'm at today. I worked in banking for 4 years. I loved my time in banking. I started as a part-time teller, just working behind the counter, balancing my cash box at the end of the day, which is stressful because you get written up if you're over or under a certain amount. And we were handling millions of dollars in transactions because we worked at a place called Pier Park in Panama City Beach, and we worked with all the businesses. So we were doing huge cash drops throughout the day, processing those. But I started as a part-time teller and then was promoted within 2 years to assistant branch manager. And I know that was attributed to my MBA experience. I was ready to get in and lead a team. I love leading people. I love getting people to rally together behind a cause. And I pride myself in like my interpersonal skills. And I think that helped in terms of promotion as well. I also, it's weird when you work in banking because you're also, there's a sales component to the job as well. So you're selling loans to customers. And with my company that I worked for, I was the number 6 loan producer in the nation, which was pretty cool.
Very nice.
So
that is
there's a
that was your
little bit
LinkedIn profile.
But you use, I mean, you don't, technically you're not using your degree.
I use it every day
right
in my
now.
technical thinking.
I hope that one day.
Greatest thing about physics
Yeah,
is
for sure.
gravity works. Ain't no denying.
But I think that physics is like there's a skill set there for you, and that is detail orientation.
Perfectionism.
That's not what everybody has, and you have
Pretty
to
much.
have that. Yeah.
Could be bad.
Or in balancing things out. Yeah. But yeah, I think you use that for components of your degree. Or the thing about college that you're also learning.
I have a liberal arts degree. So I took stage management, lighting design,
right.
Art courses, religion courses. What else did I take? American movies. I'm a well-rounded person. Took through Spanish 4 in college. Retained some. I can understand. I can understand most.
Yeah. You heard me speaking Spanish when
with the Lyft driver
in California.
Yeah, and you were talking about me, and you're like, it's okay, he doesn't understand. And I was like, yeah, buddy, I'm hearing some words in there, some choice language.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything bad about you. I said where you lived.
You were giving away all my info.
No. I said he's from Texas and I'm from Florida.
I heard Texas when it popped up.
Watch
like,
out.
Hey, that's me. But yeah, I use it sometimes just because of my brain. But yeah. So, old physics.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. Well, someone said, has Nick tested Hunter on his various personality
multiple
tests?
times.
Yes.
I forgot what number I am on the Enneagram. What number am I?
No, you didn't.
1? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked a lot about it together. We don't have to get into all of that. Maybe we'll save that for a future episode one day.
What was I on that other one? Like a
personality
3NJ76 or something? I forgot what that one was.
There's no numbers there. It's Myers-Briggs. You're either an E or an I, which you were an E, which is interesting to me. I'd be fascinated to see how you answered some of those questions. An E is extrovert, I is introvert. And you yourself say that you're introverted.
Look at me here, talking.
Well, it's more so like introvert versus extrovert is about how you get your energy. Like whether, and I do think that you get your energy from being around other people.
I have a limiting factor.
Yeah, I don't ever. Truly, I hate being alone. I would rather be around people all day.
I would rather be around.
I
I was gonna say, I had thought of it as I was gonna say it. I was like, for the rest of my life, from now till the end of time, I would rather be alone. But then I was like, wait a minute, that probably wouldn't be good. Versus like never being alone again.
That sounds awful.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, yeah, sure.
Yeah, if someone asked me, would you rather be around somebody else for the rest of your life and never get a moment of privacy, or be alone for the rest of your life? I'm choosing no privacy.
If it's just a person and not like my wife, then yeah, I'd probably choose to be alone. I don't know.
I mean, it could
But
be.
then
the most ideal
the
person to be
variant of
around
this
me
question
always.
is if you're around, not like of 24 hours of the day, but like 3 people for the
I
rest
would
of your life, at
1000%
minimum.
choose to always like
Okay,
my wife and
okay.
kids.
7 people,
Or
non-related.
you mean people that are not not related? I guess
Exactly.
it depends on the person. I would not want that from you. I would be so done with you.
I'd be shutting the door. I'd
Because
like,
you would be
"Go to
sick
my
of
room."
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would literally kill one another. It would never happen. I do know a few people in my life that I could tolerate it, but Francie, I would be around Francie always. Francie would not be around me. Francie would be like, I need a break. So
Breaks are
Francie's
good sometimes.
definitely an introvert. So I disagree. But will Tim ever guest star on the podcast? Yeah, Tim will hop on. We were texting this week. He's been having fun over at
We want to
Disneyland,
have
but
the
come join us
added
at some
element
point.
of like talking to people in theme park landia. Like, I don't know. Well, influencers or
influencer
people who
space.
have built
Yeah.
attractions, or like just anyone
Yeah.
who like contributes in a way either towards the marketing of theme parks, which would be like influencers, or the creation of theme parks, or the operations of theme parks.
Yeah.
We know people in all branches of that, and
Yeah.
I don't know, just like getting people on here and just saying, so why theme parks, and just see where it goes from there. Be different.
Yeah. No, definitely we'll have
Yeah.
guests on for sure in the future. I love people, so bring them on. Tips on starting a new channel for a new content creator. Tips. You're going through it right now. You have your own channel,
Just
your own
keep
brand you're building.
Going. Consistency.
Yeah, I mean, truly. I've been doing
Been
this
doing it
for
longer than you have, buddy.
7 years.
Doing what for 7 years?
No, you have not. Content creation? I started my account before the Happiest Podcast existed. Dream and Disney Dad was started in the spring of
Okay,
2018.
well, I started January 2019, and I've been doing a podcast a week ever
Okay.
since.
Well, that's good. But in
Yeah, I
terms of
haven't-
being
I
a
haven't.
content creator, I've
Yeah,
been doing
content
it since
creation, I
2018,
can't help you
so-
there. I've tried to create one, and we'll see what happens. But
Yeah, I mean, content creation. I said this on a previous episode, but being a podcaster is doing content
Yeah.
creation to some capacity.
find what
Because
you
you're
enjoy
creating
doing.
content.
If you enjoy
But-
doing a podcast and talking about stuff, then do that. If
Yeah.
you enjoy making stories, do that. But
Yeah. But ultimately just be authentic to yourself. You're going to you're going to play the comparison game. Careful with comments. They take you down. But be you. Because if you can be authentically yourself, there are people out there that are going to love you for that because
Yeah.
you're a lovable person. And so if you and people can snuff out being fake. So as long as you can be authentic and real, that's what I'm such an advocate for that on the internet. Like, I cannot stand when people have just a fake approach to content creation or are curating things so much that it loses its authenticity. I say be you.
well, and you have to do
be
the
real,
thing that you're
and people will
interested in
follow.
doing, right? If I didn't like theme parks,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So, and
Right.
there's a whole
True.
myriad of things you can do content creation around. You can just do lifestyle. You just do whatever you're doing in your own life. But yeah, just do what you're interested
Right.
in, because and don't do it with like the work mindset. Do it just to have fun doing it. And if you're having fun doing it, then other stuff comes. We did Happiest Podcast for a year and a half before anybody really started listening. So we just kind of wanted to get on and talk to each other and have a good time.
Going.
Don't expect instant success because it ain't coming.
Exactly. There you go. Great advice. Great advice.
Takes a while.
Sometimes it might, but. Hunter, would you rather bring back Soarin' over California or Lights, Motors, Action to Walt Disney World forever?
Soaring over California, I'll fly to
Really?
California Adventure to be able to get my dose of that for 3 months out of the year. But Lights, Motors, Action, the opportunity to bring that thing back. Yep.
Interesting.
Oh.
This one hurt my feelings. Nick, would you rather never run a Run Disney race again or never visit Disneyland again? I have no clue how to answer this question. I love
I'd
both
say
of those
never
things
do a Run Disney race
so
again.
much.
No brainer.
I was gonna say I probably have to not do a Run Disney race, which breaks my heart. I love it. It is something that I'm so passionate about, but I can't picture never getting to go to
Speaking
Disney.
of, I guess this would be the right time to formally announce that I will not be doing the Walt Disney World Marathon. I don't know. It was a good time.
I could have registered. Text Hunter. I was ready to go. I had the registration page pulled up,
And then
he
I
said,
went,
probably not.
that $700 transaction probably just should hold off on that because
Yeah, which that was for Dopey, but I also could have
That's an
registered you
expensive
just for the
marathon.
marathon.
I don't know. I've done the marathon.
$200 something.
It was fun. I told myself if I do it again, I want to have a qualifying time so I can have an early corral.
Yeah, which then we would
No,
not.
but
end
then
up
I would
running it
start
together,
by just
so
walking until y'all get to me because that is where I'd be like,
You would not walk.
well,
that
it'd be
entire
hard.
way.
It'd be hard to walk like the first 5 miles when everybody's just running by you. But I'd jog to like a cool place. Like I'd jog to like Magic Kingdom and then just really take my time in there. I feel like, or try to.
Yeah. Well, good news or not good news, but
I'll come as a supporter for you. Maybe.
yeah, right.
I feel like we could do some bits now. Like I can yeah. I
like
feel like
you
we
as a
can-
spectator?
we can get some bits going. I'll order you a pizza
All right, I'll
from
believe
Pizza
that when I
Window
see
and
it.
I'll hand it to you. I will
That'd be great.
for
I
real
would
be
appreciate
y'all's
that.
delivery person. You and AJ and Mama Tammy all in your running club, and I'll be like, all right, I'm heading to the next checkpoint. What do y'all need? And y'all tell like
It's going to be interesting to see how the training for Dopey goes this time around because I will have a newborn and there's going to be layers of complications to that. So we'll see how it goes. Favorite memory together.
favorite memory together. It's so hard to pick just one. It's hard. Whenever I get asked favorite stuff, it's hard.
Yeah, and this one
Yeah.
involves sensitivity.
Or just fun.
So I would say that. I mean, like being nostalgic. I would say our answers are going to be totally opposite here. You go first.
Favorite memory. See, I was leading like, okay, we did go to Club 33. Like my favorite memory would be tied to like something that we did.
Yeah, not me. It would be about an experience. Sure, it's fine. I'm prepared for that. Go ahead.
Just our cruise on the Treasure. It was a fun experience. A lot of one-on-one time.
No, that's
all right.
not true.
I enjoyed. Here, this is a separate one. I enjoyed our road trip up to Andrew's wedding and recording like our little yin and yang episodes. It's just I like that kind of thing. I like road trips too.
Fun
I'm a
times.
road trip kind of guy.
Yeah. You were not as coherent.
I was tired
on the way back.
Not because of the reasons people may be thinking. I
fell
was
asleep
very
a lot.
sleepy. We knew we were driving
No.
back and arriving
Yeah, he was
at Animal
exhausted.
Kingdom Lodge at 3 a.m. So that was tough. Oof.
It's funny. We were supposed to leave that wedding
We did not
earlier, and we did not.
But it's a wedding, once in a lifetime. Of that.
Yeah. It's funny how people
Yeah,
push
well,
late
it
nights
was a
for
good
certain
time.
things. Anyways, so my favorite memory, and of course mine's going to be sentimental, but it was when Hunter flew down. It was right after I announced that I was leaving the Happiest Podcast, so I was like a mess. Because change.
Just for the marathon?
But Hunter flew down.
Oh.
Leaving.
But didn't you leave in January of last? Or am I off?
I left in.
Couple months before.
I announced that I was leaving.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he came down. We did like a blitz of the different holiday parties offerings at Walt Disney World. We did Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and also Jollywood Nights. But I don't remember specifically where we were headed or why we were. I think, it was after that entire weekend, you and I were on our way to go over to our friend Andrew's house, and you started talking about your wife, and you started talking about how much she means to you and how much like her kindness means to you, and you started crying. And yes, you do. And I loved that moment so much because I was just like, it meant a lot to me to see that from you because you're not an emotional human being. And so to see obviously how much love you have for your wife was super moving. But then also just to see you to like drop your guard that you have up regularly and just be raw and emotional with me. I was like, wow, he like trusts me enough to be able to be that vulnerable with me. And that was like in the very early stages of us getting closer as well. So, yeah, that's my favorite.
That was
memory.
in trust. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. But
it's okay.
No,
we're allowed to cry. Trust me, it happens to me often. I cried this week a few times.
That was probably the last time I shed a tear, to be honest.
You need to work on that. Nick, would you ever visit a theme park in Texas?
Who knows?
With Hunter?
Still waiting.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
November of our
we
have our trip calendar, for the year. I'm just kidding. We don't have an actual trip calendar, but I don't also, and you will be having a new baby. So, Francie, if you're listening, this has not been set in stone. He's going to run it by you.
No. Francie knows about this. There's the potential that I will be going out there. Miami, which is my favorite college football team, is playing a team that is located in Dallas, and I'd like to go out there for the game and take the boys with me, which might be how it works in terms of having the baby at home, because then Francie and Zoe can have a little girls' weekend. Zoe will be a couple months old, so like it's not going to be a rager. But the complicated part about this is that the game is happening the day after Halloween, and we trick or treat on Halloween, and I don't know how that will work in flying out there.
Trick or treat here on Halloween.
Yeah. It's more of like a family thing, so I don't know how that would work. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You go to the game. We do Six Flags Over Texas. We go to Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio. Go to.
I don't know that we'll be able to pack all
Universal
of that
Kids
into that
won't be open
weekend,
yet.
but...
We can go to Meow Wolf. We can.
Well, and I do think that I'll eventually go out there and maybe even for work for Universal Kids. So that would definitely be an opportunity.
Way down there.
Parks with Hunter. Yeah, we'll see. I'd like to make
Fiesta
a trip happen.
Texas and
we'll
Six
see.
Flags Over Texas when you do come.
Probably the next time that Hunter and I go to a park together will be in Orlando, I would imagine. And it maybe this summer. We'll see. I'd like for Hunter to get down here for Epic
I think in May I'll be in Branson. So I'm going to do Silver Dollar City for the second time. First time as theme park guys. So we'll see about that. And then, maybe Orlando sometime between May and November.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What was your first job?
What was my
I was a
first
I was
job?
a lifeguard.
A lifeguard, huh? CPR
16.
certified, fully credentialed, deep water.
Yeah. Back in the day, this was, oh man,
my
this was
gosh.
almost 20 years ago. So.
Were you child labor? Like what is that? 20 years ago?
I've been driving for, buddy. I'm almost 30.
That is child labor.
So.
Oh, okay.
No, I was 16.
Right.
18 years ago. Yeah. I've been driving for 18
Wow.
years. That's wild to think about. Anyways, yeah, I was a lifeguard at a country club, and
Interesting.
I had a blast. It was a great time. I taught water aerobics to the older ladies that would come down
Yep.
to the country club pool, and they thought I was the best as 16-year-old Nick. My tan was so good going
dear.
back to school for junior year. My junior year pictures, man, what a guy, what a good looking dude that kid was.
My.
If you look at my yearbook photo from every year, and
All of a sudden
at
you look like
specifically junior year, you're
the
like,
werewolf guy from Twilight. Just Jacob. Yeah, that's his
Jacob.
name. You went from Edward to Jacob in one summer.
Not Edward. I was never Edward. But I also, my life in high school followed the High School Musical like
dear.
storyline. So freshman year of high school is when High School Musical, the first movie, came out for me, and then going into my going into my junior years when the High School Musical 2 came out, and that was all based around them working at a country club, and I had worked at a country club that year. And then my senior year of high school is when the final movie came out, and me and my friends went and saw it and cried watching it because it was real, and it was like their high school journey is ending and ours is ending, and we're all going to miss each other.
I only saw the first High School Musical. Okay, so my first job, I was a forklift driver at a steel fabrication plant. Sounds exciting, huh?
Very cool. No, I mean, that's
I drove
so it's on brand.
big old forklift. Was lifting.
How old were you?
It was in the summers. I didn't work in high school. It was after senior year, senior summer, and then every summer after that. So that was when I was 18.
This is a window into Hunter and I's like different backgrounds, but I had to work.
I was an athlete. I was playing sports.
Truly though. Well, but I mean, my brother was an athlete and he worked at Winn-Dixie. But I had to work in order to pay. I had to pay for my own car insurance, my own gas, and then attributed to buying my own first car as well.
Yeah,
So,
not me.
different experience.
What was your first car?
It was my neighbors had a car sitting in their lot in their yard for a very long time, and I was like, "Hey, can I buy that?" And they were like, "Sure." It doesn't work, and I was like, "Okay." So I paid them, I think, like $200 for the actual car, and then the work that needed to be done was like around $1,000. So I paid all that I could, and then my grandparents helped me with some of it as well. But it was a '94 Toyota Corolla.
Very nice.
And then I got rid of that eventually and had a 2001 Pontiac Sunfire.
That sounds
which was
fast.
Man, I loved that car. That was. I mean, I didn't do anything fast. No, it was like a V4.
whole four-cylinder.
It was not fast.
All right.
It was not quick, but I loved that car. That was my car in college. So, but I bought that one. No, yeah, my parents helped with that one as a graduation gift for high school.
Very cool.
So.
I'm not going to talk about my first car. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Hunter and I have different.
What's the
we come
next
from different
question,
economical
sir?
backgrounds. Let's see. How do you train for Run Disney, especially dopey, goal, but beginner?
You can do what I
runner?
did and don't train.
There's a. Don't do that.
Oh, for
Especially
dopey? Yeah, that'd be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the
it wasn't
marathon,
good.
really, either. If you. There's actually a method online called and Run Disney like promotes this. It's called the Jeff Galloway method. Jeff Galloway is a former Olympian runner who works alongside of Run Disney. So if you go to the Run Disney website and look up their training, I used that for my first dopey challenge, and it was fantastic. It made the world of a difference for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I downloaded the Runna app and was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to train. And then it was 3 weeks before the marathon, and it said, okay, well, you're on week, what was it? It was like, you are now on week 17 of 20, and it just skipped ahead, and I was like, maybe it's too late. I'm just not going to worry about that.
this is not the time.
Yeah.
I've never used Running before, but maybe one day.
It was cool.
What were your first impressions of each other?
You walked up to me in the Tower of Terror queue and
We're talking about like
dissected
personal,
me,
like in-person impressions. Well, but that was like the first time that I met you in person. We had been on a podcast together for quite some
we've
time.
talked about this. I
leading up
mean,
to
you were a dad, I was a dad, I was a newer dad, and I needed your dad experience. So
yeah, and I knew more about you than you knew about me
that is
because I
true.
had been listening.
You were a
to
fan
the
of mine.
podcast.
Never let you forget it.
I was a fan of the podcast.
Don't know about that.
Hunter and I, for a very long time on the podcast, we were known to never
right.
see
We
eye to
still
eye
don't.
with each other. Yeah, should have known.
That's why it works. You ever heard of a magnet?
Yeah, that's it.
First impression, yeah. I guess you were just very knowledgeable in the space, and you carried our dad episodes because I was like, I'll talk about a movie and music, but parks, Nick, help. And yeah, you stepped in. But yeah, when we first met each other, I don't know if you studied for this or it just all came to you on the spot, but I feel like you studied and like gave me the full character breakdown of
I didn't
like
study.
Hunter, here's
I had
who you
gotten to
are.
know you
And I'm
through
like,
doing-
I didn't know any of
No, I
this.
had gotten to know you through doing episodes.
Why is this guy talking to me? I'm kidding.
Wow.
You did come on strong for meeting you for the first time, but yeah, that's fun.
That's what I do with everybody. So,
Old Tower of Terror extended queue. Never forget.
Buddy the elf, what's your favorite color? I did that with
You did.
everybody that was in the queue
did.
that day. Yeah. I think, Hunter was, my first impression of him was that he was taller than I anticipated.
Because I'm always sitting down when I'm
and
recording.
also,
I need to stand up.
you were taller than I thought you would be. And then I think also that
Still thinking about it. I was taller than what did you think I was? Like 5'6" or something? Jeez.
no, I don't know.
Like,
I
is
didn't
that
think
all
you
I'm
were the same
getting
height
from
as
like
me.
this? You're like, definitely like 5'4". My proportions.
No, you looked taller than I anticipated. People say that about me too, so
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
take
you are
offense to
taller
it.
than I
It's not
feel like people would think too. Yeah. That's just what happens when you see someone on a phone screen or
Literally,
on
I
a
met-
computer screen and stuff.
I met people for the first time from work when I was in California, and in one of the group texts, they were like, "Met Nick. He's so much taller than I thought he was." And
You're
so,
like, all right.
it's a thing.
The coolest thing is when you do a podcast for a really
I'll
long
take it.
time, and we never did video or really showed our face. I mean, we had our personal Instagram page and all that kind of stuff, but like, people like you're just a voice, and then like if someone meets you, they're just like,
No,
oh hey,
that's still the case for me. Even having a presence online, people will come up to me and be like, "Nick, I heard your voice from around the corner." And so
I don't get it.
I mean, it's cool. I think it's
recognized a
awesome.
lot,
So. Oh, stop it!
And
actually,
but
you know what?
I will
We
say
should,
one thing: the few times that it has happened, it's been like as I'm in line for a churro, and I'll like answer a phone call and talk to someone, and then after I hang up the phone, someone turns around and they're like, "Are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's like I just don't talk a lot when I'm in the parks, so I stay incognito.
I wanted to give a shout out to Kaylin, because Kaylin, who listens to the podcast, stopped Hunter and I on our way out of Disneyland. It was her birthday, so happy belated birthday, Kaylin. Hope you had a great day celebrating in the parks. She sent us a DM on Instagram, and Kaylin, you're so kind. Appreciate you. Thanks for saying hi. Also, I want you to know, like, this has been, like, a fun new experience for the both of us to do together. Hunter has primarily been a podcaster and has not had his face out on the internet and has really put a whole lot of effort or attention into the content creator space, whereas I have definitely put a lot of effort into that. And so I've gotten to meet people who follow me a lot more often than Hunter has. When you stopped us and told us that you like listen to and support
You're gonna have
the
to be
podcast,
careful of anything
Hunter
I tell you
was
in our personal conversations.
You didn't say anything to me. It was just his face. When we walked away from you, Kaylin, seeing Hunter's face was absolutely priceless because he was so proud and so excited. He was just so thankful that
You are speaking.
I'm speaking for you right now, so you're welcome to.
I just thought it was
welcome
cool.
to
I thought it
take
was
over
cool
at
to
any
meet her.
point.
It was great, and she offered great information to be our tour guide for Knott's too, which I was like, all right.
Yeah. But she was also particularly, you were also particularly excited. You were just like,
Yeah, she didn't say, hey, I listened to
I thought
that
that was
track.
really cool.
And I was like, hey, That's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It was. It was the first time that in the park, the two of us together.
Yeah. It was the hey, Nick and Hunter. And I was like, oh, Nick and Hunter. All right, cool. Which was interesting. But
yeah. It was cool to see you be so proud in that moment.
Weird thing is, though, and I'll just put this, since we're, an hour and a half into the episode, I'll bury this little secret. This face you're seeing right now, this is an AI overlay. This isn't my face. If you see me in the parks, I'm actually a different person. No, I'm kidding. That would be crazy, though, wouldn't it? Oh, man.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate, not catfish, but just double take. Speaking of, we went over our average of an hour and 27 minutes. This is now our longest episode to date.
I know.
That's what
Ask
happens.
us anything. That's what happens. Well, I don't have a very strong last question to ask. There's some funny ones about the two of us together. The moment you knew you'd be BFFs.
It's you have BFFs. Yeah.
What?
There's never a moment
That doesn't
in
even
my
make
mind.
sense. Yeah, I don't. To be honest, that's
been a fun conversation.
Hunter and I's friendship is always a work, a work in progress. So we're just opposite human beings, and
Let's just say the thought of having a BFF never was in my mind prior to hanging out and talking to Nick since probably high school.
I don't know how to.
I just haven't. I just never categorized anybody in life. Yeah, just
as a best friend.
Everybody's a friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I have my best friends for sure.
Do you keep a notes app?
But
do you bump me down sometimes? You're yin and yang a little too much there. We're gonna bump him down below Steve.
No, I have favorites in my contacts.
Heavens forbid I ever drop off of those. Oh,
you're in there.
Favorites. There's
actually only 3. Oh. I guess so. There's 3. I have 3. Everyone else is family, but then I have 3 guy friends that are in.
I don't have any favorites at all. I didn't know that was a feature that existed. Is that what? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my iPhone 11 might not have that. Oh, okay, cool.
No, I think it probably would. I also think it'd be cool one day for me to have an emoji next to my name.
Do emojis.
That's my goal.
That's my thing. I don't like emojis.
All of my so Francie's name in my phone is my wife with several emojis. I've got my mom's name is Yaya, which is who she is with an emoji. My dad he has a fun little avatar. Best man is my brother, and it has a bunch of emojis.
I'm a big
first
name last name person. I have Maddie
simple.
Hazen is my wife, and then she made me put a red heart next to it, so I put a red heart, and she's the only one with
as she should. Well, that's good. At least she has.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I might just change her back to Madeline Hazen. It's easier if people are searching for the name in your contacts. What if something happens to you? They're going to go, where's his brother? Maybe it's best man. I don't know.
They will literally, no, they would go to my wife.
That's not the first thing I'd be looking for in a phone.
Why? If they went to recent calls and they were like, oh look, one of his recent calls was to my wife, I would hope
from the start of time,
that's a good
my phone contacts have always been first name last name. I've never done the
that makes sense. That's your
bro
that's
number 1, bro
totally
number 2, best man, wife.
You were too young for. You didn't have. Did you have a MySpace?
I got in real late. I tried to create one, but they were phasing out.
Well, and you were a little young for that. Yeah, you would have been more of the Instagram, Snapchat era. Yeah, you used to rank your
I was
in MySpace.
Oh yeah. I was a one of the first. IGers.
Who would your top friends be? You had to on MySpace. You
that's
didn't have
the
to.
ultimate.
You could put one top friend. That's what you. That's what you would do, which makes sense. You would just have one top friend, and it would have been Maddie.
That's what I.
Yeah. No, it caused drama in high school for sure. You
Did you hear Steve dropped me out of his top 5? Oh no. But no, I pride myself in getting into like Instagram early enough to where I have my just first last. You know, that was big. Same for like Instagram, Twitter, like all those. I was like, I really lucked out, and people have to do like first name _ 1247, and I'm like, I'm just first last. I got it.
I probably could have done my first and last name with my first Instagram account, but I didn't because I matched it to like my AIM username and all of that kind of stuff. You didn't have AIM?
Didn't have AIM. I was busy like playing Command and Conquer and Roller Coaster Tycoon. I played computer games. I did a lot of
those things too. I'd play them while AIM was...
I didn't connect to the internet. Yeah. That's probably what it was, because we just I don't know. We didn't really do internet. We had dial-up, but
we had dial-up.
It was always an ordeal
for a long time. Yeah, but when I would get on that dial-up as soon as I got home from school and have my AIM up and just see who was online.
Yeah, I was homeschooled, so I didn't have any friends.
Not in high school.
Well, in high school,
no,
then I had then I had the iPod Touch. That was the cool thing, and then you hook up to the Wi-Fi on the iPod Touch, and you're like,
yeah. We didn't have a lot of that. I had a Nano at one time, and then like
my dad had a Nano.
The first generations of iPod.
Be able to listen to it sometimes. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Did you use LimeWire?
Yeah, you go to jail, right? Yeah. Go to jail if you use it.
Something like that.
What else did we use?
There's a little bit about Nick and Hunter. No, we can wrap this number up.
What was your first gaming system?
Handheld or connecting to a TV?
Probably connecting to a TV would be first.
I don't remember what
Handheld came later in life for you.
Yeah, what came first? N60. Well, I had a Super Nintendo
with the cartridges. Wow.
With
like the 3.
And then I remember getting
thing.
Mm-hmm. No, it was like a square.
Oh, I'm thinking of Nintendo 64.
No, I had an N64, and I remember specifically getting an N64 for Christmas, and my brother and I lost our minds. We were so excited about it. And yeah, those were the 3. But I had the system before that. And then my Game Boy Color was my jam. I loved my Game Boy Color so much. Pokemon Blue.
We talked about this.
Game Boy Color.
Pokemon. I went Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, GameCube, PlayStation 1, and then I've just been PlayStation ever since. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So... Well, anyways, I need to get Planet Coaster 2. That just came out in November. Maybe I need to do like some. It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it's Planet Coaster. It's kind of the same thing, but it's newer.
They're releasing a new Roller Coaster Tycoon
what's
game.
Going on with that? And then we'll start live streaming the theme.
I saw the advertisement. I was going to send it to you.
I need to get a computer that's not a laptop that's powerful enough to handle my parks, because I go all out. Any more questions?
Thank you all so much for listening.
Let me find one.
No, there's more, but we don't have time. No. We're good. Thank you guys for all of your questions. Appreciate you. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them. Mm-hmm. We would be here all night. And it is now past midnight, and I have to make lunches.
But we need our question for everyone else. Yeah. What was your first gaming system? What was your first gaming system? Let's go. Let's plug in primarily. If you want to do a handheld, like part B to the question, go ahead. But I'm expecting a lot of,
me,
like plug in. You know. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Yeah. Let us know.
What was your favorite theme park
game? Did you play the most?
There we go. We tied it in. We tied it into theme park, guys.
But what if they didn't play theme park?
What are they doing? What are you doing listening to this right now? What brought you here? If you're one of the people that got to this point, you played a theme park game at some point. So
I don't think so. Unless it was like
the Disneyland theme park game, the new one where you can walk around Disneyland. That's fun.
Well, or just like Disney
what's
games.
your favorite? Yeah, those are like Tarzan and all those old ones. Yeah. All right, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about?
There you have it. That's all. Appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. We have.
Can we talk about what we're going to do? Because we already did it.
I think at this I think at this point, yeah, people will actually, by the time you listen to this episode, you'll have already
I can't
seen
believe we
where
haven't
were.
talked about it as much because it was such a big thing.
Well, I
That's
mean,
true.
it's been in development. Like we didn't have specific things worked out, but we are going to the
Well,
park.
we already went to.
and we're being
But
hosted
are we
by
posting
the park.
stories on? I don't know. Is it already out there at the time of this episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, people will have seen that we've gone. But while we were recording this, it has
Still
not
giddy
happened
with
yet.
excitement.
But we will have gone to the park that
Yeah.
is closest to each of us, which is Peppa Pig Park in both.
Excuse me,
Dallas.
North Richland Hills.
Which I-
like Dallas? My gosh. Don't
Isn't it
start
like
this.
literally
Go away.
the-
Yeah, and your Peppa Pig that's in Orlando. That's me saying the same
It's
thing.
not in Orlando. It's in Florida. But the literal name
DFW.
of the Peppa Pig theme park is called
No.
Dallas Fort
Just
Worth.
say DFW.
Thank you.
You don't say the full
one-
D word.
Okay, but on the Instagram page, it is literally Peppa Pig
It should
theme
be
park
Peppa Pig
Dallas
theme park
Fort Worth.
NRH, but they did DFW because they did the letters, right? Not Dallas Fort Worth.
For the handle, but then it's
It's just
listed
because
on
that's
the
what the
actual
airport's
page. It
called.
says
So like yours is like probably Peppa Pig theme park MCO.
no, it's Florida.
Kidding.
It's literally Peppa
it's
Pig
North
theme
Richland
park,
Hills,
Florida.
But neither here nor there. We're going to Peppa Pig.
Well, anyways, yeah,
For our second on-site location, Peppa Pig.
yeah. So you guys will have seen us. We are taking over the theme park dad account. I've only ever let one other person take over my account. And
Oh,
that was
yeah,
my
she did
sister.
do that.
So what an honor. Yeah. But yeah, so Hunter will be taking over, and
Try not to embarrass you, I guess.
we'll be posting stories back and forth from Florida and Dallas.
Let's make that a thing.
DFW,
Let's make it a thing. We'll
and
make it a bit. Dallas.
it'll be fun.
Dallas.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. I have my Peppa Pig shirts on the way. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready. I was born ready. My home
right.
park.
Stay tuned, and we'll have a full. So another cool thing that's happening is we're going to get to record next week's
On
episode
location.
from the park.
Officially.
So it's on
Whereas
locations.
Disneyland, we kind of
So it's-
bootlegged our way into a picnic table, but this one's official.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
you all. We'll see you next time.